So Jesus says in the Gospel of John chapter 3, verse 14, Jesus says, just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. And so, in those days, when a person says, lifted up, you see, in those days, people were afraid. Even the Romans were scared of the word cross. They were scared of the word crucifixion. And so when Jesus says he must be lifted up, he is referring to crucifixion, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Yeah, the people were not oblivious. They were not like, oh, what a great metaphor, be lifted up. I wonder what that means. No, they did not wonder. They knew what it means. They knew what he was talking about. That's why the people are like, why must the Son of Man be lifted up? I thought he was going to be living forever. Because the people, they're like, why must he die? I don't get it. The Son of Man lives forever. And so, Jesus says the Son of Man must be lifted up, must be crucified, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. And so, my friends, when you believe in Jesus, when Jesus is lifted up in your sight, in your eyes, in your heart, Jesus says this is the will of God, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him will have eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. And so it also says right here, famous John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him. So let Jesus be lifted up in your life, in your heart. Some people be wondering, how do I know if Jesus is lifted up in my life? Well, when you open your mouth, does Jesus come out or not? It's really simple. When you open your mouth, does Jesus come out? Does his words come out? Because Jesus says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So basically, how you know what's in your heart is the words coming out of your mouth. That's how you know what's in your heart. It's a really clear indicator. If someone is sitting next to you and all they talk about is their cat, or all they talk about is their boyfriend, then you obviously know who is sitting on the throne of their heart. But if you sit next to someone and all they talk about is Jesus, you know that Jesus is on the throne of their heart. When you're sitting next to someone and you just feel holiness, you just see the glory of God radiating out of them, and they speak words of wisdom, and they're so full of life, even in times where they go through things that would crush them, and yet they have this faith, this life, this joy, and you just know, wow. And when they speak faith. They don't speak doubt, they don't speak pain, they don't speak ingratitude, they don't speak curses, but they speak faith. You know that their heart is pure simply by the words coming out of their mouth.